Hello. Welcome to Vula Conversations. This is George. I'm hosting you today. Thank you very much for joining us. Yesterday we had an interesting subject, and thank you very much for the responses there. But one more thing I needed to say yesterday, which triggered a thought about today, is that the Innocence Project is the organization that was responsible for bringing in DNA testing and ensuring that actually technology brought about justice as Archie Williams was released. But the key, what triggered today's topic is the Innocence Project is a non-profit organization, and they perform acts of kindness. They look into cases where people have been wrongly convicted, but they use DNA testing. And so thinking of acts of kindness, it just took me back to the story I'm about to tell you now that happened to me when I was 10 years old. I fell seriously ill and was admitted into hospital, into the general hospital there. It was a case of poisoning, food poisoning, and it was so bad that my cousin actually passed away. Whilst I was in hospital, there was a gentleman, we just called him Jack. I don't remember his surname. Jack was a relative of one of our neighbors, and he worked at the general hospital in the kitchen. I just knew him from a distance. He wasn't someone who I would talk, he was a grown-up. I was 10 years old. But when I was in hospital, he was exceptionally kind. He had no reason to be, but he was, because that was his heart. He would bring me food. I remember he would bring this vegetable soup, hot, nice and hot. And he would check on me, check on the nurse, check the nurses, how is he doing? And as I said, there was no relationship, but he was just somebody who used to come into our neighborhood. But when he heard that I was in hospital, he literally kind of like adopted me. He really looked after me. And I remember as a kid saying, one day when I'm grown up, I must do something for Jack. I was so many years ago. And later I was discharged from hospital. And I later learned that he had done or did many kind acts for many other people. But I just thought about that story of what Jack did. I did not directly reciprocate to Jack, but I know what he did now that I'm grown up. I know that he passed on the kindness baton to me, and he passed on the kindness baton to many, many other people who helped. And like in a relay race, the runner who gets the baton runs with it. And you know what they say about, I don't know who said this, but somebody said that many years down the road, you don't remember what someone actually said to you, but you will know how they made you feel. I know how Jack made me feel. He made me feel very special. He would spend time talking, he would check with the nurses. And you know, when you're in hospital, the one thing you need most, apart from the doctors, is somebody who comes into your corner, talks to you, kind of uplifts you. It does something for your spirit when somebody does that. And he was there for me. Jack, he's late now, but he was a marvelous man. But he passed on the baton. And I thought, maybe let me share the story with you, and with a request to say, you know, where would this world be if everybody took the kindness baton and ran with it in the relay race, hand it over to the next generation? What would it do? What it would achieve for mankind? What it would it do for your family? What would it do for you? It's amazing. What, you know, they say kindness makes the world go around. Kindness makes the world go around, which is actually how I've titled this message. Because when we all do that, we will definitely change this world and make it a better place. And it takes somebody like Jack, who did it for no benefit to himself. He had no reason to do it, but he did it because it was him. That's how he was wired. And so I thought I would share that with you, because it's a powerful story for me. And as I say, every time I think about him, I feel very warm inside, because he deposited something in me. And I want to share that with you and ask you to take the baton, run with it, so that your children and their children and their children and their children will run with it equally, and we can change the world. All right, okay, this is George. Thank you very much for listening. I'm a life and business coach. I'm also a Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant. I work with Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher. I'm a speaker, and I'm a facilitator at Vula Unlock Consulting. And hey, listen, if you have similar kindness stories to share, why don't you drop us a line, right? On this Vula page, or even on my page, or on your page. Tell us what's happening in your life. How has kindness impacted you? And let the world know, because there's so many stories out there of kindness, but we never get to hear about them, because the media loves to talk about the negative. But you, my friend, can let the world know. Snip in and see what's happened to you. All right, take good care now. Stay positive, and I'll be with you again tomorrow. Take good care. Bye-bye now.